the pause button, you leave your hand up there. So you don't forget to restart.
For the 2 p.m. hearing. Public hearing, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Notice of public hearing. Please take notice that the Oswego County Legislature shall hold a public hearing on proposed County of Oswego Local Law Number 5 of 2018 entitled "The Local Law Overriding the Tax Levy Limit for Fiscal Year 2019 on the 13th day of December 2018 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon of said day, the Oswego County Legislative Chambers, County Office Building, 46 East Bridge Street, Oswego, New York. This hearing is regarding the County of Oswego being allowed to adopt a budget for the fiscal year commencing January 1, 2019 that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit as defined by General Municipal Law Section 3C. Copies of the proposed local law are available in the clerk of the legislature's office at 46 East Bridge Street, Oswego, New York, available online at oswegocounty.com. Requests can also be emailed to Chris Jones at oswegocounty.com. By order of the Oswego County Legislature, dated November 15, Christopher A. Jones, Clerk. I would note that this is the hearing on the tax levy limit, local law only. The budget hearing is slated for 7 o'clock this evening. Any persons wishing to be heard on proposed local law number 5 of 2018, please step forward and state your name. There being no persons wishing to be heard, I request to declare the public hearing closed at 2:02.
Will the clerk please call the roll.
Margaret Kassler is absent excused. Wilford Potter.
Here.
Edward Gilson.
Here.
David Holst.
Here.
Roy Rehill.
Here.
John Martino.
Here.
Bradley Tudell.
Here.
Paul House.
Here.
James Weatherup.
Here.
Mary Ellen Chesbro.
Here.
Linda Lockwood.
Here.
Richard Klein.
Present.
Patrick Twist.
Here.
Stephen Walpole.
Here.
Nathan Emmons.
Here.
Thomas Drum.
Here.
Shane Rodwell.
Here.
Heather Del Conte.
Here.
Marie Schott.
Here.
Tim Stahl.
Here.
Terry Wilbur.
Here.
James Karasik.
Here.
Morris Sabella.
Here.
Daniel Paya.
Here.
Frank Castillo.
Wouldn't miss it. Please stand for the invocation and the pledge.
Let us be thankful for the love, hope, and joy of this holiday season. We wish that peace may grow throughout the world, and that the goodwill in our hearts continue to be evident in all that we do. May the blessings and guidance continue with each of us and our families into the new year and beyond. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next up, we have employee recognition. I'd like to call for the Infrastructure, Facilities, and Technology Committee. Invite Kurt Oswald, James Collins, and Legislative Lockwood please join us. Kurt Oswald will offer.
This is a 25-year certificate for James Collins. He's been with the highway department, obviously, for 25 years. He spent a few years at the airport. He's done about everything that you can do within the highway department. Presently, he's spending a lot of his time training all of our new guys. We've got a lot of new guys coming and going. These gentlemen here, we rely on them a lot to train our new people. They do a very good job. We hope he stays for another 10 anyway. Thank you very much. Appreciate everything you've done.
I'd really not much to say. It's been a fine 25 years, and give Kurt anything he needs.
the reports of the county officials. Reports of standing committees. Legislator Trudell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to report out that our Veteran Services Age Committee met on the 29th of November at 17:30 in the county building in Fulton. A couple topics of discussion that we had. There were two main topics of discussion, with the first being the Military Appreciation Day. Our Military Appreciation Day will be conducted on the 13th of July, this 2019 at Fort Ontario. So we discussed events and going forward with that, generally inclusive of the entire county, of course, and everyone will be invited to come to that. And again, that's on the 13th of July. It's already been in the paper, but there'll be more coming out about that as well. And also we discussed military honors and recognition for veterans. We had a considerable discussion on that. So the minutes will be published. And our next meeting will be conducted on the 9th of January at 17:30 in the Mexico Tin Shop. And also on the 29th, media was invited, and we had media representation there as well. So far, I'm happy to report that our Veteran Services Agency Committee is going forward, doing good things, and reaching out to the community.
Thank you. Any other reports from special committees? We'll get ready to two resolutions.
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the Sormel, go ahead.
I'd like to report on the advisory committee for the Syracuse Airport. Things are back to normal. You can drive around now. You can do things, and it's quite a. If you have not been inside the structure, it's really bright. The less downstairs where you used to walk in is large, less complicated, and they've done an excellent job up there. The committee's is going ahead now, and they're doing some fine tuning with operations at the airport, but it's quite an event to go there and see all this here. It's quite a real change because it's so bright and inside, and they got some displays there right as you walk in. So bring that up, it's a little with, don't with.
Thank you very much. Anyone else that I missed? Okay, thank you. We're going to keep going. Resolution number 1, Legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution for adoption.
Hold on that a second. I need to move the minutes. So moved. Jumping ahead. Yep, thank you. First, move the minutes. Second. Any discussion or questions about the minutes in front? Hearing none. All in favor of the move? Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. We'll try all around there, David. Resolution number 1, David Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution for urgent adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Board of Elections, Election Day ballots.
Okay, it's just an increase what it costs us to run the elections. I believe we do the ballot size and stuff, and a little extra money for it.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Castiglione?
I don't see, where does this money coming from? I don't see where it says money coming from. That's all, the only question I have on it.
I believe it's coming out of their budget. I mean, it's coming out of this. It's 50, 54, 55.
Yeah, it's coming out of the same one.
We look at the budget.
It just wasn't good. Okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 2, Legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution for urgent adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution fixing the time and place for the 2019 organization meeting.
Yes, time and places will be here, January 3rd, 2019, at 2 p.m.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Castiglione?
Yes, I would like to make an amendment to this and make that meeting at 7 p.m. on that day.
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to amend and a second to change the time to 7 p.m. on that day. I believe was the offer. I'll look for the vote in favor. All those in favor to approve the amendment.
5 in favor.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Amendment fails. Back to the original motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Thank you. Resolution number 3, Legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, Richard's adopted.
Will the clerk read that again?
Resolution creating a Director of Land Bank position, Real Property Tax Services.
You went ahead, I would have voted for no, let's put it this. Yeah, it's just, to bring about, so we have, land bank director. We all have some extra paperwork and everything on the desk, and the work they've done.
Any discussion? Representative Upton.
Yeah, I've tried really hard to like this resolution. I really appreciate everything the land bank and the director has done for the community. However, I can't get past the fact that it's actually creating a shell of a position simply for the primary purpose of funneling pension to her. And although it is legal to contract with the county and the land bank for employment, that's not what we're doing. We're not contracting for a county employee. We are creating a position that the county has no control over simply to allow that person to get state pension. And to me, that feels unethical, so I'm a no.
Any other discussion? Representative Casabia?
I echo legislator Alconti's sentiments, but I have a question. Now, therefore, it is mutually agreed upon as follows. We're down to number 4. It says quarterly reimbursements to the county shall include salary pay, FICA, state and federal taxes, and other fringe benefits agreed upon between the county of Oswego and the land bank of directors. What are the other fringe benefits that are agreed upon, because they're not listed here? And also, I'd like to know who's going to play workman's comp.
I think that's resolution number 4 you're looking at.
Resolution number 4? I don't think so. Resolution number 4 is fringe excludes county health insurance coverage. That's number 4. This is right in number 3, behind concept revised October 26th. Then it says now therefore with resolution number 3. Is it in the wrong place? It should be in number 4, not 3.
Number 3 has the draft agreement attached to it. That is not binding. What will be binding is resolution number 4, which is the final agreement that does have it.
So I'm really confused now then, because it's my packet has it attached behind number 3. Does everybody else have the same packet?
Number 3 has the draft
Petition request
agreement
to delete
attached to
budget
it.
form.
Number 3 is the draft agreement attached to it, because that is the form it was in when it went through committee. But resolution 4 has the final, and that the final version of the agreement attached to it. That is the one that will be binding.
Okay, then I'll argue that when number 4 comes up, I guess. But the point of the matter is that we're opening Pandora's box here on, if somebody wants a state pension, then they become a state employee, and they don't work in the private sector. This is a private nonprofit that is looking to become a state employee, but get reimbursed. We're going to get reimbursed for the salary, but you still haven't told me how they're going to pay for the, how we're going to pay for workman's comp on this. I'll ask it when you come to number 4, but I will not be in favor of this because it's fact we're creating a position just to give somebody a pension. That's not right. We're looking to put another person on public assistance. That's what you're actually doing, because state pension, everybody looks at it as it's money coming from the state, and that's what public assistance is. And I just can't see it. We put enough strain on our state budget as it is, and now we're just going to add one more little twig to that thing. Sorry, I'm not in favor.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Resolution number 4, legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution for its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement with the Oswego County Land Bank Corporation.
Well, this is basically what it says, to authorize that, and, this is a no cost to the county itself. Everything is, comes back to us, it's paid by the land bank.
Discussion.
I believe that would include what Frank was asking.
Legislator Consiglio.
It almost answers it, but it still didn't answer the question, who's going to pay workman's comp? If there's no, if the land bank is going to fix, no, they're paying for salary, taxes, FICA. Salary, state and federal taxes. Doesn't say anything about the workman's comp.
The question would be answered that the county would be paying workers' comp. If the legislature wants to include workers' comp assessment as part of the reimbursement, they can do that.
So as it stands right now, if we vote on this as it stands right now, the county will be paying workman's comp.
It's the obligation of employers in the state of New York to pay workers' comp.
That's-
So the question is whether or not it's reimbursed by the land bank, as I understand it, your question. So if you want it reimbursed by the land bank, there would be an amendment to the agreement to include workers' comp.
I guess I'm going to make a motion to have workman's comp reimbursed by the land bank.
Motion to amend is on the floor.
I'll second it.
Second. And while we're in discussion, the concept has always been all associated costs. So that's, welcome to be added in there. It's all associated costs. And there's also a little misinformation. This does not include anything to do with health care or that is being separated completely different from this motion here.
Fringe excludes health insurance, right there.
So a first and a second to add workers' comp to this. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carries. We're back to the original motion on resolution number 4. Any other discussion? Legislator Carrasco.
Yeah, I just want a clarification on the now therefore is mutually agreed upon. It says January 1st of 2018. Are we going back to January?
No, that
1st?
should be 19.
Should be 19?
Yes.
We can change the,
We can just change the language on
Yeah, that's fine. I just didn't.
that. Legislator Belcanto.
Yeah, can someone just tell me how this does benefit? It's purported in the backup that it does benefit the county, that it streamlines paperwork or something to that extent. How in the world does this benefit the county juxtaposed to the situation that already exists?
Unlike other nonprofits, the land bank is a creation of the county, and it's performing a quasi-governmental function. And that's what the benefit is. By doing this, we're helping to retain an employee that has proven the ability to perform the job at an exceptional level, and all the community benefits that I think everybody here recognizes. It's not unlike the county providing retention benefits to nurses or whatever we're using. We've done this in the past with other forms of retention efforts, not necessarily with this going the pension route, but this is the retention that was requested. We also have other programs and employees of the county that are fully paid from other sources. So this is not really precedent setting in that respect. It's also not precedent setting with other nonprofits because this one is a creation of the county. It's a public nonprofit, not a private nonprofit, and it performs a quasi-governmental function.
Those employees you refer to that are in the same position, do they have any oversight by the county?
Pardon? Yes, but they may also have oversight from other outside boards. For example,
But I understand what you're saying, but just to be clear, there is an element of oversight with those other.
There is an element of oversight with this as well, because although this employee is directly supervised by the Land Bank Board, this county legislature appoints that board.
Yeah, that's twice removed, so there's no direct oversight. The other thing I want to be clear, we are making a petition and we are making government in the form of a resolution for one individual, a specific person.
I would assume this agreement could still be in place even if the land bank director, the individual in that position changed.
But the whole premise in doing it right now and because of it is for one individual.
It's a retention issue at the moment, as my understanding.
Yes, okay.
Let's consider 2 or 3 issues. Still, it states there's fringe benefits that are going to be agreed upon by the county, and I don't see them listed other than what we've got here. Okay. And second, is the director of the OCO, is she paid for? Is she a county employee?
No.
Okay. Is Arise an employee of the county? Okay. Both those groups do great things for the county, but they're in private, non-profit organizations, which they have their own pensions set up with them. And it's just my contention that if the land bank really wants to keep a good employee, then they would set up a 401k for that employee and have it just, they wouldn't be, donating to it, but they would be taken care of. And it's just to set it up, to put another person on state payroll, and I know that no local share, but those, when it comes pension time, that's going to come out of state taxes, and we all pay state taxes one way or another. I'm not in favor of this. I'm glad that we're going to put in at least the workman's comp cost, but I can't see adding more government when we're trying to reduce our government.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Resolution number 5, legislator Holmes.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution for its adoption.
Will the clerk read ahead?
Resolution pursuant to New York State Public Health Law 4120, approving the combination of 2 primary vital statistics registration districts into a single primary registration district.
Yes, this will just turn the town of Richland into the primary registered registration district.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 6, legislator Holmes.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution for its adoption.
Will the clerk read ahead?
Resolution authorizing expenditure for motor vehicle, online revenue, and reproduction expense for purchase of new vehicle.
This will have to be amended because it's a $3,000 change in the price, and we're still waiting on the insurance check at the moment. I believe it's about $8,500.
Okay, there's a motion to amend the increase the cost by $3,000.
Second.
Seconded by legislator Klein. All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Back to the original motion for the increase. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you.
And just to answer your question, we anticipate a check in the order of $8,600 around there from the carrier, but it's not arrived yet.
Resolution number 7, be offered by legislator Chadwell.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read that?
The resolution appointing a certain individual to the Oswego County Industrial Development Agency.
As so mandated, when a seat opens up on the IDA board, the members of the board will nominate a qualified candidate to be brought to the legislature for approval. Once again, they have brought forth a very qualified candidate, Mr. Tim Stahl. His resume is a veritable checklist of the skills that are needed for somebody to be successful on this board. And the chairman of the IDA himself, Gary Toff, said it best when he said that legislator Stahl will be an enhancement to the relationship between the legislature and the IDA.
Thank you. Any discussion? Senator Del Conte.
I've actually already had this conversation directly with Mr. Stahl, but again, it's my moral compass. There's a huge conflict of interest between his employment, where he's working right now, and his employment title, and what he will be doing in the IDA. His job in his employment is solely about finding ways of enhancing economic growth in the city. So it's very difficult then to assume that he's going to go to the IDA and be a neutral force. That is his employment, and I'm not even talking about what he does on the legislature. So I believe that there's plenty of other people out there who are equally qualified and who does have a huge conflict of interest.
Legislator Consigli.
Mr. Chairman and fellow legislators, with the perceived conflict of interest with the appointment, or the presentation of the appointment of Mr. Stahl, Legislator Stahl, I would like to move to have Mr. Mike Kunzweiler's name put in place of Mr. Stahl, as he would be a great asset to the county in replacing his father on the IDA board.
I got a motion to amend, second by multiple. We'll have a vote on the amendment to add Mike Kunzweiler in replacement of his Stahl. All in favor of the amendment, please raise your hand.
5 in favor, 19 opposed.
Abstain.
Oh, 1 abstain.
All those opposed to the amendment. Back to the original amendment, resolution number 7. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
5 opposed.
1 exception.
Resolution number 8, Legislator Stahl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To make this resolution, I urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution appointing members to the Oswego County Soil and Water Conservation District Board of Directors.
This is a reappointment of Legislator Terry Wilbur and Legislator Linda Lockwood to the positions.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain.
2 abstentions. Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 9, Legislator Stahl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a resolution and I urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Community Development, Tourism and Planning, visitor guides.
This is an exciting one. This is, I think, definitely a big thanks go out to our department head as well as the folks within that department. What they've done here is be able to save some additional money because they were able to do things in-house, which I know is something we like to see out of our department heads and folks who work there. So because they were able to do it in-house, they were able to save some extra money that would have been used for the development. They'd like to just move that within their budget to increase the availability of the rental.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Legislator Consigli.
The budgeted funds, this next year's budget or is this year's budget?
This year.
This year? Okay.
Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 10, Legislator Stahl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make this resolution. I urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Community Development, Tourism and Planning, vacation buyback.
Vacation buyback.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
1 opposed.
Resolution number 11, Legislator Wilbur.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the chairman of the legislature to execute the jail-based CBI services program grant contract with the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services and authorizing budget modification in the probation department for the grant.
So this is accepting a grant in the amount of $27,500 for that jail-based cognitive behavioral intervention.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Resolution number 12, Legislator Wilbur.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, probation department, ATI, probation assistant.
What we're doing is, for the remainder of the year, we have moved an individual, a more seasoned employee, I guess we would say, into this position, and as a result, we need to move the money to accommodate that. Total amount, $4,700, moving within the budget.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Resolution number 13, legislator Wilbur.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, E911, other equipment.
This is moving money within the 911 budget, total of $98,628. This is the last payment for our CAD system. When we started out to implement our CAD system, we were not going to implement it for EMS. When we got into the AVL and all the extras that we were doing, we figured it made sense to include the EMS. It's the right move at the right time, and we had $98,000 worth that we could move within the budget to make this happen for us.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Legislator Consiglio.
I'd just like to note that it says it's final payment, please.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
Opposed.
Resolution number 14, legislator Wilbur.
I even put final in there for you, Frank. You could have voted for it for me. Anyway, I have the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the reclassification of position in the district attorney department.
What we're doing here is reclassifying a clerk to a typist as a result of a resignation, just to actually make the person's title accommodate what their job is actually.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 15, legislator Wilbur.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution establishing capital project number 88, renovations, district attorney's office.
So what we're doing is, as everybody is aware, we have a couple new additions in the district attorney's office. This resolution here will set up a capital project and move the money to accommodate for office space for said new assistant district attorneys. So it's $30,000. We're not expecting it to be that, and I will keep us posted on what the total outcome is and monitor it from there.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
All opposed.
Resolution number 16, legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the implementation and funding in the first instance 100% of the federal aid and state Marchicelli program and eligible cost of the transportation federal aid project and appropriating funds therefore.
As written in the packet, this is traditional, something we usually do, license and bridges, moving some money.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 17, legislator Walpole.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution establishing the funding for capital project number 87, upgrade of fuel management system at the highway, airport, and F&T facilities.
As we know, a few years back, we upgraded our fuel management system, and this kind of coincides with it. What this does is finishes up the last few ones we had for the fuel dispensary system. And it's money coming right out of the budget, transferring $30,000.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Consiglio.
Again, this year's budget or next year? This year. This year? Okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
All opposed.
Resolution number 18, legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution for its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing extension of snow and ice contract highway department.
As in previous year, we're re-entering the contract with the state for snow removal on state roads.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 19, legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution extending roof replacement contract capital project number 24, county office buildings roof and window replacement.
we all know, we've seen this several times. The project is currently not complete, and they're going to need some more time to complete it. There's no additional money.
Thank you. Any
Extends it
discussion?
out to May 7th.
Sorry about that. What was that?
This extends it out to May 17th, it gives them the May 17th.
That's great. I'm sorry, Legislator Schott.
Is there anything in the contract that guarantees completion by May, and what are the repercussions if it is not completed by May?
I don't believe there is. Perhaps John can answer that question.
There are no penalties in that particular contract for it.
There's not a liquidated damage provision in the contract, but there's a performance bond, and they would have to agree to extend their performance bond to complete the contract within the contract terms. So this is being extended not for the completion, well, this building is behind schedule, but I understand that the deadline is being extended primarily for Pulaski courthouse work, which has not yet begun.
Why did they take the contract if they didn't even begin it?
All weather-related, the contract wasn't left until late summer. They began in September, and we've had in October and November extremely wet weather and unable to perform roofing activities, high winds.
Legislator Consiglia.
Extent of the contract, I understand a little bit, but what about money? Is it going to cost us any more money? And he had it cost. So if they come back in end of May and say, well, because of the extension and we have to do this, it's going to cost us this much more, and here's your bill, and we're going to have to pay.
Any additional money would have to be brought back.
The extension is with prices held firm against increase for purposes of the extension.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
All opposed.
Resolution number 20, Legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The following resolution is adopted.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution entering into an agreement with Synoptic.
As we're all aware of the results from the Bonadeo study, and there were some critical issues regarding the IT department, and it was recommended to us to go with Synoptic to correct those immediate issues.
Any discussion? Legislator Consiglia.
I'm sorry, I just don't buy into something that's not going out for the bid of any sort. And last month it was going to be $76,000. Now it's gone to $225,000. Is that correct? I understand why we need it. Okay, that isn't what I'm questioning. I'm questioning that it should have gone out for an RFP so that we would get possibly saving the taxpayers a little bit more money. I know what the issues are, but it's still in there that it should have gone out for RFP. It's not something, we're not talking about a $10,000 bill, we're not talking about, buying 10 shares or anything like that. We're talking about $250,000. And that, to me, is a lot of money, and a lot of people in this county would say, what in God's name, why didn't we try to get a better price? And I know the issue is that it's so sensitive that we have to move on it quickly because we have these issues. Well, I don't think there's a government in the world that doesn't have these same issues that we have, okay? And all I'm saying is that it should go out for RFP. I will not be in favor of this only because it's not going out for RFP, not because we don't need the work done. It should have gone out for RFP, and I'm asking for this, to be put out for RFP for right now, and I know it's going to go out for the future work, but I'm saying for right now.
I know these were the immediate issues that were addressed, and we all had several meetings, and we all discussed this previously, agreeing to go with the critical issues that needed to be dealt with. That's is, and we're going by the recommendation of Oswego, who's familiar with these people and the work. That's why we didn't go this route. But the other issues we are going to RFP.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
2 opposed. All 5 opposed.
Resolution number 21, legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the chairman to execute an agreement between the County of Oswego and Lidell Performance Materials Incorporated.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe this needs to be amended.
I have a motion to amend, I believe, and seconded. Well, the paperwork is on the.
It's distributed to all the podiums.
The amended paperwork was distributed, put on everybody's record.
Just cleans up the language, I believe.
Yeah. All in favor of the motion to amend, please put the paperwork that's on your desk.
Aye.
Anybody opposed to the amendment? Back to the original amendment as, or back to the agreement as amended. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 22, legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution increasing authorization of capital project number 72, renovations, Oswego DMV Records Retention Center.
Well, as everyone's aware of, again, there was a subcommittee dealing with this issue with the renovations to the DMV Record Center, and it's taken several different twists, I know, and we had several meetings in which everyone's encouraged to attend. And that being said, we had a rough budget that we were looking to stay within, and through the course of that, once the RFP was sent out, it came back, bids came back higher, $760,000, which is all within our guidelines of the tobacco fund.
Discussion. Legislator Del Conte.
I'm just curious, a third more than what we were thinking. Is it because we're trying to cram a square peg in a round hole by using that building? Would it be cheaper just to build what we want from scratch?
We are building.
What's that?
We are building it from scratch.
Well, I mean, but we're using that space, right? So we have to deal with the soil issues and everything else that comes with that space. And deal with demolition. There's a lot involved.
John, you look like you want to comment.
In the subsurface investigation, they did find that there were some unacceptable soils for foundation material, so just put a foundation in, so we're going to be removing several yards of soil. There are no known contaminants soil, so it's just, we could have, if we chose, say, another location, we'd still have to figure out if there's acceptable soils for that. So we are reusing the viable buildings, renovating it, and then adding on to the system.
Legislator Shaw.
I am also concerned with the ongoing changes with this project, but where's engineering through all of this?
Tetra Tech is our architects and engineers of record. They've been on board since the beginning, and now have what we requested, an extension of the building, and license for it.
Legislator Casiglia.
Again, I will not be voting in favor of this. We're putting money into a building where we shouldn't have a building that's owned by a municipality that should be collecting taxes for us instead of being tax-free. So I will not be voting in favor of this for those reasons and the added cost that keeps going up. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
3 opposed.
Resolution number 23, legislator Karasik.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution for consideration.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing appointment of Oswego County HIPAA privacy officer.
I As we all know, both in the health department and several other departments, HIPAA is an important part of what we have to be in compliance with. And unfortunately, our previous officer is retired, so the health department would like to have Ms. Jean King named as compliance officer for HIPAA.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 24, legislative harassment.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution for consideration.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification to the 2018 budget for preventative biological expenses, Health Department.
It's a big title to say that we need to buy more vaccine. We've went through a lot of it this year, which is good. Hopefully that helps improve our health ratings.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 25, legislative harassment.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution for consideration.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing expenditure from Capital Reserve number 195, Silk Road Remediation Reserve.
This is for the ongoing and forever and ever and ever Silk Road that we have to continually monitor. And this money is in the capital for this specific purpose.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
See, that's how you do it, guys. Nobody argues with you.
Carries. Resolution number 26, legislative rehab.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution approving Parks and Recreation fee schedule.
This is changes to the fee schedule proposed for 2020 at Camp Zerby and Camp Hollis.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Legislative Brown.
No, I just wanted to say I was appreciative to the committee. We had a good conversation and worked towards and eventually succeeded in offsetting our proposed youth cost increases to our non-youth group attendees of the camp. So I think that's the right decision to make. We all know why Camp House is there and what its purpose is for. So to be able to offset those costs and keep our youth groups where they were last year, I think is a good step forward. So I was appreciative for that conversation.
Thank you. Legislative Rehab.
And I appreciate the legislator strong bipartisan support.
Great. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 27, legislative rehab.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
The clerk read that.
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services to transfer funds to cover vacation buyback expenses for the remainder of 2018.
From within the existing budget as presented.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
One opposed.
Resolution number 28, legislative rehab.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read that?
Resolution ratifying the signature of the chairman of the legislature concerning execution of a trade and economic transition National Dislocated Worker Grant subrecipient agreement.
This will allow us to accept the grant for $123,640.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 29, legislative weather.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution increasing existing appropriations for various funds in several offices and departments.
Yes, thank you all. It looks exciting. It's actually just more of a housekeeping issue end of the year type thing.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
One opposed.
Resolution number 30, legislative weather.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing capital project closures and transfer of project balances.
Yes, thank you. This resolution simply represents what Clerk Jones has just said. It's a housekeeping issue end of the year.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. I'm going to let the county administrator give a brief explanation, but we're going to carry number 31 over to the night meeting for reasons of.
I'm awaiting an email with written confirmation that doing this will not impact our ability to receive raise the age reimbursement in 19. And I should be getting that email today, so my advice is just to hold this resolution till the night portion of the meeting, give the state time to get that information.
I'll look for a motion to table that to the next portion of the meeting for this evening. So moved. 10 seconds. All in favor of the table? Aye. Anybody opposed? Carries. Having said that, we are in recess now until 7 p.m. this evening. Do the county insurance or county administrator. Hanging out the window?
Outside.
It's a good time, Phil. Don't worry. We're on the way down here.
Payroll's part of it. Budget's going up.
To be warm.
That time period, the reevaluation probably changed.
I'm with you, Phil.
As we reconvene, at where we are at time for the 7 o'clock public hearing, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Notice of public hearing on tentative county budget for fiscal year 2019. Notice is hereby given that the county legislature of the county of Oswego will meet at the legislative chambers, 46 East Spring Street, Oswego, New York, 13126 at 7 o'clock p.m. on 13th day of December 2018 for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the tentative budget of the county of Oswego for fiscal year beginning January 1, 2019. In the event that seating capacity of the legislative chambers is exceeded, the hearing may be moved to the adjacent county courthouse on East Oneida Street, Oswego, New York. Further notice is hereby given that copies of said tentative budget are available in the office of the clerk of the county legislature, 46 East Bridge Street, Oswego, New York, where they may be inspected or procured by any interested person during business hours. Pursuant to Section 359 of the county law, the maximum salaries that may be fixed and payable during said fiscal year to members of said county legislature and to the chairman thereof respectively are hereby specified as follows. Members of the county legislature, each $13,096. Majority and minority leaders of the legislature, each $15,715. Chairman, county legislature, $28,810. By order of the Oswego County Legislature, dated November 15, 2018, Christopher A. Jones, Clerk, County Legislature. Any persons wishing to speak on tentative budget for 2019's fiscal year, please step forward and state your name.
Jimmy, anybody on this?
Mr. Chairman, there are none.
There being no persons wishing to be heard, I request to declare the public hearing closed at 7:06.
Thank you. We all heard after coming back, as we reconvened for the resolutions of the day, that resolution number 22 needs to be relooked at. I look for a motion to reconsider resolution number 22.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to reconsider resolution number 22 for correction of an error.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on the reconsideration? Bring back to the floor. All in favor?
Explanation other than what we talked about?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll look now to entertain the motion to amend Resolution 22 with a new budget modification. I'll let Phil explain.
Yes, everyone should have a copy now of the corrected budget mod. Basically, the correction is the account that we took the $760,000 out of would end up short if we did that. And there's a line that should have been added, taking money from canal corridor money that can be applied to this project. So the difference is we're taking $668,000 from the tobacco paving reserve and $92,000 from that canal money that can be used towards this project to acquire the $760,000.
Let me get a first please, to amend.
Would make that motion to amend.
Second.
Second.
Discussion on the changes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
One opposed.
Resolution number 32. Resolution number 31. Legislator Weather.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution in urgent adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution adopting County of Oswego Local Law Number 5 of 2018 entitled "A Local Law Overriding the Tax Levy Limit for Fiscal Year 2019."
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is simply a yearly just-in-case resolution. We don't believe it will be needed, but again, just in case.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 32.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution in urgent adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution appropriating funds in the 2019 budget in regard to full funded grant projects.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is simply year-end housekeeping type issues.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carries. Resolution number 33, Legislator Weather.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution in urgent adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution adopting county budget for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2019.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also would move to amend the tentative budget according to the attached schedule, which adjusts various accounts to update anticipated expenses and revenues in the 2019 budget, which results in a generic tax rate of $7.70 per $1,000 of assessed value. And Mr. Church, you could expound on.
I'll second it.
Everyone also should have this motion on their desk reduced to writing. I'll quickly go down through these. These are all changes and updates that have occurred since the tentative budget was adopted by the Finance and Personnel Committee. Under County Administrator's Office, there's a reduction in salaries due to a replacement of a position. District Attorney's Office, the amount of money predicted from local forfeitures and drug crimes is reduced. The other changes you see there are conforming the budget to recent decisions of the committee, jurisdictional committee to adjust salaries within the District Attorney's Office. Under the Treasurer's Office, the amount of money paid to municipalities out of sales tax is reduced as a result of the next line, which is reducing the expected amount of sales tax revenue. There's also a BBC retirement. There's a different type of retirement that some employees can elect to take, so we need to budget for it separately. You'll see that throughout this document. Community college, the expenses, the chargeback to the municipalities has increased to $360,000, but there is a revenue that makes that a wash on the tax levy. This does, however, affect our tax cap calculation. We were $644,000 below. By adding this in, we are now $287,000 and change below the tax cap. So although you have the precautionary waiver in place, we are still tax cap compliant by the numbers. The next one is the real property office. This simply adds in the position and the revenue for land bank director that was voted in today by the legislature. In buildings and grounds, we are adjusting the electricity account to a more realistic number as to what our expenses may be there. It's still down $110,000 from what it was last year due to the solar panels that we installed. And also there's another VDC retirement we'll see there. In the public defender's office, the salary is, one of the salaries has been reduced, and additionally $274,000 in revenue we've been notified of in the last couple of weeks. We'll add that back in. That will help lower the levy. Central Services Department is being reduced by $311,000 in maintenance and repairs. This is part of the long-range plan on cybersecurity improvements that we voted on today to do an immediate fix on immediate needs, and then we will go to an RFP process for the rest of what we need. But the result is a $311,000 reduction from what was originally budgeted in that office. 911 is simply another VDC retirement. Social services, this is new information today as well. This conforms the budget to salaries that have been negotiated and successfully with 3 attorneys that will be joining the department. You'll recall that we are, instead of contracting out legal work for social services, we're creating a legal division within social services, and that will save money over, it will come in, the cost is less than if we contracted out. There's also been an adjustment, that's also a wash on the levy, also an adjustment to raise the age expenses and revenue, that's a wash. Employment and training, this reflects the resolution you adopted this afternoon, accepting $125,000 in new revenue and allocating that revenue into the correct lines. Under the highway and solid waste departments, this restores overtime that had previously been reduced because that particular overtime does not affect the tax levy. And further, lastly, due to all these reductions and changes, we're able to reduce the amount of fund balance applied to the budget by $800,000, so that will come down from 1.9 million to 1.1. And I'd also note that in adopting this, you also confirm that the latest full valuation number for the county is also applied to this, at $6.29 billion number. That results in a tax levy of $48,438,619, and that produces a generic tax rate of $7.70 per thousand, same as it was this year.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I would like to state, although this budget comes down to tonight is our night where we are going over the cost of pencils and lampshades. This is a year-long process to get to that. I commend yourselves and Phil and others, all the legislature, for getting it down to that. I guess before we get going, I'd like to mention that for everyone that knows, or should know, that we are within our fund balance policy that we've adopted. There's less reliance on fund balance than originally anticipated, and less than last year, and we have less reliance on sales tax than anticipated. And let the games begin.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just a point of order, Mr. Chairman. We're debating here these amendments, and then we'll have a full discussion on the budget.
After accepting this amendment, which will bring it.
I'll reserve my comment.
Add these to the.
And then have a full discussion on the budget.
And then we'll be back.
Beautiful. That's all. Thank you. I'll wait till then.
Any other discussion on the amendment? All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Carries. Okay, we're back to the resolution 33 as amended. Any discussion? Let's sit down.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to offer a amendment to the budgets, removing the $1.1 million allocated out of fund balance to bring that number down to 0.
not a new argument that we've had on this floor over the past years. I'm a component of using as little or no fund balance as possible. Fully aware that this will take us over the tax cap. The county administrator has explained that there's some quirks that with the rate stage that tie that to that. It's irresponsible of the state to do that. I don't think anybody would disagree on the floor. Regardless, I think it's fiscally responsible to utilize as little fund balance as possible. It's good to hear we're in our fund balance policy, but it's just not enough for mine. It's the downfall of municipalities when we continue to rely on fund balance year in and year out. It's been encouraging to see that we've offset our gamble with sales tax to move some things around. I think that was an appropriate move. I commend the county administrator for getting creative there. It's just not enough for me. We need to be responsible. Years and years and years of zeros lead to years of 10 and 12 and 15s, and we've seen it throughout this county. And I just don't, in good conscience, vote for it. I can't vote for it here tonight. So I'd offer that as an amendment.
We need a second.
Roll call, please, Mr. Chairman.
First discussion. We're still in discussion. So let's take a shot.
No, I didn't know. Do you have a second, correct?
We have a second.
Okay.
Yes. Discussion. Legislative constituents. On the amendment.
On the amendment, I want to thank Legislator Drum for making the motion. And I hear the grumblings before that even that we're within the fund balance that we had set. But it's not the fund balance that the state recommends. The state recommends double 2 months of your operating expenses. Our operating expenses, I believe, are somewhere in the neighborhood of $15 to $16 million a month. We should have in that fund balance somewhere between $31 and $32 million. Okay, and we're far from that. And we keep taking from it year in and year out. And yes, we put money back into it. And yes, somebody's going to say, well, it's the taxpayers' money and we should help them. Well, what you're doing is you're hurting them. You're, again, still making a false budget. You wouldn't do it in your household. You wouldn't do it in your own private business. Don't do it with taxpayer money and with your own, you're hurting your taxpayer. So I am going to be in favor of Legislator Drum's request to move this into the tax levy. And yes, there may be some grumblings on the floor. They're going to say, all Castillo wants to do and the Democrats want to do is tax you. Well, it's not that. We want to save you from a double digit, which may be coming down the road a lot sooner than what we think. Some of the people on this floor may not be here when that happens, but they're going to look back at us and say, this is where it happened.
I got a roll call vote. Ask any other discussion first. Roll call vote on the amendment to remove the usage of the $1.1 million fund balance. Clerk.
Margaret Kessler is absent excused. Milford Potter.
No.
Edward Gilson.
No.
David Holz.
No.
Roy Rehill.
No.
John Martino.
No.
Bradley Trudell.
No.
Paul House.
No.
James Weatherup.
No.
Mary Ellen Chesbro.
No.
Heather Lockwood.
No.
Richard Klein.
No.
Patrick Twist.
No.
Stephen Walpole is absent excused. Nathan Evans.
No.
Thomas Drum.
Yes.
Shane Broadwell.
No.
Heather Del Conte.
Yes.
Marie Shaw.
Yes.
Tim Stahl.
No.
Terry Wilbur.
No.
James Crosser.
No.
Morris Rebello.
No.
Daniel Fafaya.
Yes.
Frank Castillo.
Yes.
Move fails back to the original as amended after the first. Discussion. Legislative constituents.
I know that the administrator brought the amount of money coming out of the tax, out of the general fund down to 1.1 million. And there's been discussions that the minority caucus does not make any cuts during any time of the year. And we presented to the county administrator $910,000 worth of cuts. It was going to be put to the department heads. And the county administrator gave it to the department heads and also to the chairman of the legislature because there was some legislative cuts in there.
and they came back with, what was it, the repairs, 300,000 out of that. If we put in the other 600,000, and now I'm not talking about major cuts. 14, we're asking for chairs for the Board of Elections at $400 a chair. And we put in that you can spend $200 a chair. We didn't say you couldn't have the chairs all together, but there were cuts in there. And instead of asking and forcing the department heads to say, this is what you've got to live with, and you have to tighten the belt now, because we don't want to have to make it hard on our taxpayers, we chose not to put any more of these cuts in. And I'm sorry, but we try every year, for the 5 years that I've been in here, and for the 5 years that I've been in here, we've taken money out of the fund balance, and every year the minority caucus has brought cuts, and every year they get turned down. And I'm sorry, but we are doing nothing but doing injustice to the taxpayers by not giving them what they need, which is don't take the money out of the fund balance. And it's just going to continue.
Just to be clear, I've never been part of the process. You mentioned that I was part of that. I've never seen your ask. I've never been asked to be part of that. So just to be clear, I've never been part of that conversation.
I'm sorry, but the county administrator told me, Mr. Chairman, that he gave you the cuts that I requested out of the legislative accounts. He said because it comes out of their the mileage and the travel and the debit card.
No.
That would be brought to you.
No.
I'm sorry.
I've never seen the opportunity, that's all I'm saying. I've never seen one thing, never been asked to be part of that conversation.
What I told you is that that went to the department heads. The department head that oversees the legislative accounts is the clerk of the legislature, not the chairman of the legislature. So it went to the clerk, not the chairman.
So the clerk decided not to reduce the mileage and the travel and the debit cards.
It's below historic usage.
I'd also offer that I also sat at one committee and I watched Legislator Schott participate during the budget process and eliminate a position that I know that was put in there, and that was well accepted as infrastructure. So I've seen many opportunities through the process from both sides during the budget cuts, and I just want to make it clear that has been offered, was offered at that committee, and was accepted at that time too. So there's not been a complete denial of any offerings. Is there any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Margaret Kessler. Milford Potter.
Yes.
Edward Gilson.
Yes.
David Holst.
Yes.
Roy Riedel.
Yes.
John Martino.
Yes.
Bradley Travell.
Yes.
Paul House.
Yes.
James Weatherup.
Yes.
Mary Ellen Chesbrough.
Yes.
Linda Lockwood.
Yes.
Richard Klein.
Yes.
Patrick Twist.
Yes.
Stephen Walpole's absent excused. Nathan Emmons.
Yes.
Thomas Drum.
No.
Shane Broadwell.
Yes.
Heather Del Conte.
No.
Marie Schott.
No.
Tim Stahl.
Yes.
Terry Wilbur.
Yes.
James Crosser.
Yes.
Morris Cervello.
Yes.
Daniel Fafaya.
No.
Frank Castillo.
No.
18-5.
Budget passes, thank you. Resolution number 34, Legislator Wilbur.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Clerk, read the heading.
Resolution authorizing the chairman of the Oswego County Legislature to enter into an agreement with New York State for the 2019 Stop DWI program.
This resolution does just that. The chairman enter into the agreement on behalf of our local Stop DWI program with the state.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 35, Legislator Weatherup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution making appropriation for the conduct of county government for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2019.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Simply again, a housekeeping issue to get going.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 36, Legislator Holst.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing chairman and clerk to handle all unfinished business through December 31st, 2018.
Pretty self-explanatory, we'll take care of any unfinished business that's on there now and upcoming.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
2 opposed.
Next point of business, legislator Wilbur.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to waive the rules for resolution authorizing the issuance of a quitclaim deed concerning 1121 County Route 57, and also for a resolution authorizing matching support for skill of Oswego County 2.0.
Second. First and then seconds there. Resolution number 37, legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution for its adoption.
Will clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the issuance of a quitclaim deed concerning 1121 County Route 57.
It's a small portion of property which is to be acquired under title, and resolution is both necessary and
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 38, legislator Rehill.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution, urges adoption.
Will clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing matching support for skill of Oswego County 2.0.
This is $25,000 from the Development Efficiencies Fund to help match a grant that's going to help some workforce development that we agreed to quite often.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Consiglio?
I've read the resolution over. I'd like to know what is actually going to happen. Are we going to hire somebody to help train, or because everything it says in there is a development? And I want to know, what is it? Are we talking about we're going to hire a company that's going to develop a plan, but no one to institute the plan, or are we going to put people to work? What's the actual money to go for?
It's actually going to the Workforce Development Board, who has had put together a proposal that they asked for the money from the Shipman Foundation and from us to help them fund it. And as it says here, it's to be used to secure soft skills training to be delivered at the one stop. Part of this really has to do with going back a couple years ago. We lost $100,000 in federal funding to workforce development, and this is to help plug some of those gaps. We lost $100,000 the year that we did a 50-50 match with businesses, and we ended up with, we spent $50,000 as a legislature after quite a long discussion, and we ended up bringing in $52,000 from local businesses. This is sort of to continue that. This year, instead of local businesses, it's Shipman Foundation who's helping to fill the gap. The total project is $66,000. We're contributing $25,000.
I still didn't hear that it's just a development. It's not anything that you're hiring. They're going to hire somebody that's going to come in and get these people jobs and help them get jobs. Other than we're going to write up a plan, and that's what you have to do. That's all I'm.
The Workforce Development Board has the plan. They have multiple strategies that they're working on. They're rolling out this. This helps to continue the Skill Up Metrics online learning program, which hundreds of people have taken online courses for free through the county.
If I can expand a little bit. When they originally came in China for workforce, they were going to Shipman Foundation to get funds so they can really expand the programs, the website design, everything that can help them streamline processes as well at the one stop, because all the dollars they get are really tied to things. So this would give them some unrestricted fund movement so they can create and develop some of those things that they didn't have money for in that budget. And the goal was at that time to continue with the county was the supporting entity for workforce development, that if they went out and got that money from the Shipman Foundation and proceeded, that the county would be there to supply the local share.
I understand what you're saying, Jim.
I'm short of having to call her, bring her in and explain it. I don't know.
And I'm all for it if we are going, how many people is this going to help? How many people are we going to put into the workforce?
That's what I'm asking. I'm in favor of helping, but I'm not in favor of just writing something up and saying that we've developed a plan, but the plan hasn't worked out.
I think
That's
it
all
would
I'm
be
saying.
fair to say that we, considering it's been accepted and in place, and also with the new EOA grant, to bring them in to a social, human services committee at the beginning of the year to help open up whatever those discussions were and what they learned. I think that's fair.
The Workforce Development Board has a more complete plan. I can make sure I get that to the legislative state.
Be good to bring them in too. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
One opposed.
Okay, that concludes resolutions. Unfinished business. I'm going to just speak quick on miscellaneous business. You'll bear with me here as I've appreciate these last couple of minutes as chairman of the legislature of the seat. First, I wanted to thank Phil Church and Steve Lodwick for the continuous effort in the budget. Phil, I really appreciate it. The budget process, all the department heads that are here, and I know who have been part of the process and working with the administration through that, which goes all the way back to August when these conversations start. He starts to challenge them to dig deep. And I know without all of their efforts, it wouldn't get us to to where we're at. So they're really involved, and they want to get there as well as we do. I wanted to just speak to a few things on top of where we got to get to no increase. It's exciting, finally, after years of discussion, the county website is currently under design and development and all that will have to offer for us in the future. The airport development, inside our fence, a new hangar is currently under construction, new terminal building with a $1.1 million state grant, and a full refacing of the entranceway, making that a much more welcoming place. Also, our partnership with New Air and the future drone technology in the corridor is an exciting part of that. That all is happening necessarily because of this legislature's effort to move forward with 176, the sewer project from Fulton to Valney, which will also put it past 100+ acres of land economic development opportunity at the IDA. We all know, just briefly, about the Phoenix to Fulton conversation for the future potential options. We're all aware of exciting possibilities for economic development in the future there. This year we started the County Strategic Advancement Plan. And this will be exciting, I believe, in the future to continue the economic development partnership with the county IDA and now Center State CEO, who will assist in managing that plan with the county and the IDA in 2019. Relationship with the state grant writing, our outside grant writing team will continue in 2019, and I think it'll help build better in 2019 if those relationships are kind of now established, and hopefully department heads could start taking advantage of that right away. By the way, I think it's ridiculous. CFA announcements aren't until next week, when everybody's already establishing their budgets, and they'll have to make adjustments after the state's announcement at CFA, which will be on Tuesday. We're rooting for Camp Hollis and the upgrades which strategic help get there. We all know we're part of the CGR public safety study. The completed analysis and implementation is massive. The IT, Bonadeo countywide assessment that we're now managing, that if we do have conversations outside, every municipality is struggling in their own IT. This county-wide new financial system, Munis and the new purchasing partnership with Onondaga. At the same time, we've all worked, and I've talked with so many department heads on how all of them are learning and getting the learning curves and struggles through these things, but it's happening, and we appreciate everybody's help to get there. The space assessment, since I was in here 7 years ago, conversation can's been kicked down the road. This is in the legislature's hand now, and we're working on actual facility to help manage that. More now than ever, the county health department, county department of social services are continually managing major collaborations. Countywide grant opportunities focus on the county's biggest issues, so we appreciate how wide of a web that and working with schools so well now. Big deal, tobacco bond projects have been a massive undertaking that I don't think any of us can really appreciate. The amount of energy John Luker's had and focused on. If you look at our county facilities, it's really focused on the infrastructure. and how to manage, these facilities, focus in the future. I just wanted to touch on a few things that really come up, and I know there's probably a whole lot in a lot of other departments, positive things that are happening, but I just threw this together in the last hour. Big things that are coming up in the future, I think everybody's going to have to pay attention to that are unknowns. CAFA, the Council of First Arraignment, a lot of focus and new changes taking place. Raise the age, a lot of unknowns with those things, even at the state level. They don't know the total impacts, but let's take it on anyways. I think foster care is going to be another big question mark for the budget in the future. We've got another new judge who says she'll place, so things could continue to rise. And yes, it has to be a conversation about what does the future of nuclear power look like in Oswego County. I'll just say that because I think your opportunity to look at that will be in the next year or so, because this legislature moved forward to change the residential foreclosure changes from 4-year to 2. Those monies were over $6 million in deferred funds that we put into the pot every year to make everybody else whole year after year. You could be conservative in saying that's a couple $1 million savings, and those things will start at the beginning of 2020, as well as the healthcare consortium conversation, which we worked and had, and those are 7-figure savings with many other counties surrounding us who partner with school districts and cities on the way. So I just wanted to say that it's been a pretty exciting year as chairman. I've really appreciated the opportunity. I did see firsthand, day in and day out, what the administration and for the board here work through on a daily basis. I would definitely like to thank Rich, his team at the county attorney's office, so many almost day-to-day conversations. And, the majority of people in this building on the 3rd floor all the way down to the 1st floor of the treasurer's office are so wide open to conversation every day and helping the process forward. There's a lot more than legislators know happens in this place every single day. So I appreciate that. Having said that, I really would just like to say I think our county has a very strong workforce, unbelievable department heads that are so well to work with, and that's it. I've offered to say Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year, but it's been a pretty exciting year, so thank you very much. If there's nothing else, I'll look for the appropriate motion. Motion adjourned.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Or anybody opposed? I didn't think so. Have a nice night. Thank you.